Hi everyone, Sarah, the owner and creator of Multifarious Nature. Thank you for joining me again today. If you're a returning viewer. If you're a new viewer, thank you for joining me. I'm so glad that you're here. And feel free to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button below and the bell, and you'll be notified when I post new videos. I try to do it weekly, and I've been pretty good about it. So let's get into the fiber goodness, shall we? So shop update. I do have finished objects, but they were the commissioned work, and I cannot show you those until the individual that I made them for gets them. So that will be in another video, and I will give you all the details. So that is the Carolina shawl and the cabled fingerless gloves, and then I also have a slouchy hat that I was commissioned to make as well. So those are going to be in another video, and I look forward to showing you guys. So that's my shop update. For works in progress, still have a couple. I have the Leander Shawl by Jane Venslos. So that's what I'm currently working on. And I did get more done on it. So let's see here. Definitely mid-row. But with this pattern, if you haven't done this pattern before, it's actually kind of helpful to end mid-row. I know that's like bad form, don't stop in the middle of a row. However, for me, I have found it to be helpful to stop in the middle of the row because it helps me keep track of which row I'm in. There's a lot of pattern repeats or section repeats of rows, so that has helped me. And then I also put a little, I usually use sticky notes, and the sticky notes kept falling off of the pattern. That's why I got lost. So I've actually been marking it with a pencil too, like triple checking myself. But so here's where I was last week. So I didn't get a whole lot done, but you have to realize it's getting a lot wider now. And this is a light fingering weight, almost a lace weight yarn. So these are very, very small stitches, and the needles I'm using are a size 3 at 3.25 millimeters. So very, very small. And you can see it's quite beautiful. It's turning out really nice. I'm liking it a lot. The lace work, I'm pretty sure I screwed up, but I think it's looking nice. You can see I've got quite a length right now. It's all wrapped up and tangled. Oh dear. Bear with me here. There we go. So it's going to be a crescent shape is what the shape is. You can see it's small down here. That's where I started. And it gets wider and wider. And now I'm in a much wider section, and it's going to be it's a crescent shape, gets really wide pointed, and then gets small rather quickly at the other end. So I'm loving it. I'm going to be continuing with this color, which is a variegated yarn. These are all found at Hobby Lobby or probably any local craft store maybe. I take that back. Hobby Lobby only, because it's a Hobby Lobby brand. It's Yarn Bee yarn, and it's that Delish Boutique. And it's just gorgeous. It reminds me of like watercolors, because they're very soft, subtle colors. And you can see how soft and subtle they are when you're knitting it up, because it's a nice, delicate change in color. So this was the gray colorway that I used. That's just gray. And then this is that variegated. So you see a little bit of the cream color in there, like a little bit of that light peachy pink color, kind of a rose color, and then this really pretty, it's not really periwinkle, it's a lavender, that's good to describe it. It's a lavender colorway. So it's very pretty, and it's very soft. It is a blend. So this is a 90% acrylic, 10% alpaca blend. So you can see the little bit of halo going on there. Gives it a nice halo. It's very soft, and it should be pretty warm because of the alpaca. So I'm enjoying that. I just work on it a little bit here and there. So I usually only get a couple inches of length from my prior knitting, but with my little Multifarious Nature Progress Keeper, one of a kind. So I got a little, oh, sorry about the noise, guys. husband's working on the house again. He does that on the weekend, so there's going to be a little bit of noise. Actually, sounds like a lot of noise. It's a little bit of noise. Okay. Next, we're going to just move on from here. So that's the Leander Shawl, and that can be found on Ravelry, I'm pretty sure. You definitely can find it on expressionfiberarts.com. I think that's actually where I found it, because they have promotions weekly, usually Fridays, and you don't have to sign up for her newsletter to get it. If you do, that does make you aware of it right away. But if you just go onto their website on Fridays, there are quite a few patterns that they actually have for free on Fridays. So, and they rotate. They're just new patterns that come out tend to be free, and then they just have periodic ones that they'll put up for free, which is awesome. It's a great way to test their patterns from different designers, and I enjoy it a lot. So next pattern that I'm working on is that Pinewood Sweater with the Plutalopi, and I'm so excited because I've got a lot further. It is taking me a while, as I stated in my last video, but I actually I'm really enjoying that it is taking me a while. So as I stated in my last video, I am doing it held double. So I'm using the Plutalopi, which is that Icelandic wool, and it's unspun single ply, and I guess it's considered like a DK way is what they call it, but it's very, very lightweight, and I'm holding it held double with a lace weight alpaca, baby alpaca, and that just adds some strength because I work continental style, and Plutalopi is very delicate when you're working with length. So, you know, when you're knitting, you've got your ball here, and then you've got your piece, your working yarn held way out, and then you're knitting. Well, that is where it's most fragile, is at the longest, because they're very long strands of the wool. It's really long, so it'll just pull right out. But when you hold it close together, like an inch or so, it's very, very strong. So when it's knit up, it's a very strong, durable garment, which is why I was so excited to use it. So here we go, guys. Let me see if I can get this untangled, because of course I tangled it up on my way into the room. Oh my goodness. What are you gonna do? Okay. So I have to be careful, because now that I'm a lot further on this, doing increases and such, I am almost done with the color work section of the yoke, and then I will be just working with the main color, which is that, I think it's called Dark Woods. It's a beautiful neutral. So that's what the main colorway of the sweater is. And then I have that plum, which is absolutely beautiful, for the color work section. So that's the contrast color. It's a 2-color piece. So you have your color work section, which is your contrast color, and then you have your main colorway. So I am so much further, guys. So I finished this area. Oh, and I totally made a mistake. Okay, so the last 2 rows of this pattern repeat, I screwed up. Somewhere in the middle of a row, I switched my colors and used the wrong one. And I noticed it when I got to the last row. I was like, this doesn't look right. It doesn't look like the pattern. Wait a second. And I went and looked, and of course I did it wrong. So I actually went back and ripped back. It was luckily only 2 rows, and I was thinking of whether I was going to do it, but I decided I definitely needed to, because this is a very beautiful, distinct pattern. It clearly has this, looks like almost a tree pattern, and I didn't want that to be butchered because, oops, you know, I wasn't paying attention. Sometimes when you get knitting away, you just get caught up in it. I tend to work on this in the evening when we're watching like a show or something, and I got distracted apparently, so, but I did correct it, and now I am getting into this kind of vine work, or I don't, there's a term that I'm thinking of, but it's not coming to me. It's on the tip of my tongue. But that, like a laurel wreath, there we go, that's the word I'm looking for, like a laurel wreath. So that's what's going to go around here, this pattern. it'll be kind of this curved design that goes all the way around. And then from there, I am pretty sure that you go back into the main colorway, and I'm going to be getting really close probably to splitting for the arms. So that's super exciting, because I feel like once you split for the arms, it just goes really, really fast, because you're just doing the stacking it. It will no longer be color work, so it'll just be the main color, and just go away, and you're not having to think about the pattern of color. It's just then at that point usually the length of your sweater. You're going to be paying attention to that, because it's a top-down sweater, and I do like my sweaters longer. This looks like it might be slightly cropped. Usually comes to, like, I don't know, it looks slightly cropped from the picture, so I'm probably going to make it longer. I'm pretty sure I have enough yarn for that. I kind of estimated. It's a 3/4 sleeve. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a 3/4 sleeve or a crop sleeve. It just, again, depends on how much yarn I have. I think it'll be fine as a 3/4 sleeve, because it's going to be quite warm. This antique-wool is very warm. It's going to be a little bit more fitted than some of my other sweaters, and it's going to bloom. It's not very airy on its own anyway. So my last rustic sweater that I made, where I kind of made up the color work and just kind of went nuts, that one, like I said, was oversized, and I used a much larger needle. I think it was a size 9. Yeah, it was a 9. And it was a very airy knit. Like, it wasn't super tight, because it was similar weight yarn to this. I think it was just closer to worsted versus the DK. So it's a little bit heavier. I want to say it was either Alpha Slopey or something like that. It's like a heavier Lopey yarn. And it bloomed, but it's still like airy. I'm probably not explaining that very well, but I feel like there's still air can flow through it, because I wore it outside, and I would definitely want to layer it, because air flows through it pretty well. So with this, I have a feeling like even on its own without being washed, so it hasn't even bloomed yet, this is a very dense fabric. And these are small needles. So this is a size 4. It's what I'm going with to get gauge. I went with a 4. I think the pattern recommended a 6. So I did go down size because, well, my tension, and then also the type of yarn. So you guys, I'm sure you know this, but if you don't, if you're new to knitting, you can totally use different yarn for patterns. I don't recommend it if you're just starting out, but once you've done a couple patterns, if you have some yarn that you found that you really, really like, and you have a lot of it, and you want to make a sweater or something, and you're like, but it's not the right weight of yarn, well, try the needle size they recommend, and do a gauge swatch. If you know the yarn is smaller, then you may need to use a larger needle, if that makes sense, because you want to get gauge, just so that, I mean, you don't want to have to try to figure out your stitch count, because that's like advanced. In my opinion, that's advanced. I haven't even done that, and I've been knitting for just like really hardcore knitting consistently, probably for almost a year, just a little under a year right now. So I haven't taken that on. I feel like you really want to get a lot of knitting under your belt before you do that, but if you're really ambitious, go for it. You can figure out your stitch count and go to town. But that means there's flexibility. There's a lot of flexibility, so you do not have to use the yarn that people use in the pattern. This, like I said, this is totally different yarn than what that Pinewood Sweater by Andrea Yeatman. Sorry, Andrea, not probably saying your name right. So I just used different yarn. So that's where I was last week. So I got this part done. I, of course, primarily have been working on my commissioned work. Now that I finished that, I can start working on my fun little selfish knitting projects again. But yeah, I'm almost done with the color work section. So I'm very excited about that. So looking forward to this. I did try it on when I was still up here, so I haven't tried it on in a bit, so I kind of want to do that. Just make sure it's fitting okay. But, ooh, almost lost the needle there. I think it is, though. It's definitely going to be more fitted. But that's what I wanted with this pattern. It's a fitted shirt anyway, so I wanted to try to match that. It does feel a little tickly, like, because it is definitely rustic, and I do feel a little tickly up around my neck when I first put it on, so I hope I don't have to, but I might end up lining the collar with either knitting and another yarn that is like merino or something that's less rustic. I might end up doing that, but I'm going to try without doing that first, just to see if it works. So I really love this collar. It's a double thickness, you know, with that provisional cast on. Wow, it's like super durable feeling, and I'm just really excited. And I enjoy the process. It takes a little bit longer to work with because it is a more delicate yarn, but the process is so enjoyable. I just am really enjoying it. So one thing about this Plotalopi, if you haven't ever used it before, and most rustic wools, I guess people say this, I don't notice it at all. Okay, so I think, of course, your colored ones, like this, have been processed more, or they're still not super wash, but processed more because of the dye, so it's probably been cleaned more. But like this one's more of probably a true to natural color, and so this one you can, I think, smell lanolin is what it is. You can smell the lanolin more, but that smell doesn't bother me. I guess some people said that it smells really, really rustic. I don't know. The smell doesn't bother me. I actually like that smell, and it's nice to work with because, especially in the winter, it has the lanolin, and lanolin is a natural moisturizer. It's the best, actually, to be using. So I am really enjoying it a lot. Highly recommend it, guys. Highly recommend it. If you haven't, or you've just been curious, I really recommend trying it. Just make sure you're obviously not allergic, because if you are, you probably have issues wearing it. So definitely try it. But yeah, coming soon projects. All right, so there is a pattern, and I'm going to see. I'll share the link below. I'm not going to show you a picture of it because I haven't printed the pattern yet. I have it on my Ravelry page, and I want to do that next. So you know how I frogged a sweater? Last week I talked about a sweater that I frogged that was acrylic yarn. It's 100% acrylic, and it was a crocheted object that I never wore. So I have a ton of this gorgeous gray heather looking yarn. It's just acrylic, so it's very durable, and I want to make another sweater with it because I have a sweater's quantity. So I want to use my stash up. I'm trying to be good about that. Excuse me. So there is a sweater pattern. It's free on Ravelry, and it's called Split Ends Sweater, and it's absolutely gorgeous. The designer is Natalia Polyakov. I don't know if I said that right, but Natalia, and it's worsted weight, so that's what this is. And it's it has cable work in the sweater. It's a longer sweater, so it comes like just to like the middle of your butt, like down past your hips, which I love because that'll be nice and warm. And it's definitely a more fitted sweater. It'll be nice long sleeves, and it's cool because the cable work goes down the sides of your body, and then there's one on the one side where it goes down the side, and then it curves to the front, and then you actually make like a cable that you knit up, and then you weave that through the cable work on the one side. So it's going to be really cool looking. I feel like it's going to be very intriguing and interesting, especially since this is obviously a solid yarn. I mean, it's heather looking, so it has that little bit of a whitish hue to it. So it's a heathered gray. But I feel like because it's going to be a long sweater, a lot of fabric you're creating, it'll be really nice that it'll have cable work. So something very interesting to keep me going. But I have a bunch of it, so I should have more than enough to make that sweater, because the sweater that I had crocheted was like massive. It was really, really big. And I even have some that I hadn't even used yet. So bunch of yarn. And so that's my next project I can put on now, because like I said, I always have at least 3 projects going, and I haven't finished my commission work. So I'm really excited to show you guys in the next video commission work, or well, hopefully the next video, if not the one after, because I do need to make sure that the individuals I am going to be giving these items to, because they purchased them, I want them to see that first before you guys get to. So that is it for today. Nothing too crazy. I hope you guys are doing good. We got some snow today. That was really pretty. It actually looked kind of like a blizzard this morning, and it did slightly stick to the roads, and I think we probably got like an inch or so, so not a lot of snow. I really hope that we get more. We're supposed to have a trip with some of our friends coming up here, and we're going to go snowmobiling, which would be so much fun. I've never gone. My husband has, but I haven't. And so that's really exciting. And but you need snow, and it'll be up north in Michigan, so it's colder up there, and they usually get more snow. But it's just been really bizarre here, where, you know, we just gotten a little bit of snow and then it melts, a little bit of snow and then it melts. So hopefully, you know, it's been really cold, but we just haven't had a whole lot of snow, and you need like at least a couple inches really to snowmobile. So hopefully, if we don't get at least a couple more inches, and then hopefully it just stays cold enough that that snow sticks and stays, that would be really good. So that's coming here in the next couple of weeks, and yeah, so that's what's exciting in our end of the world, and hope you guys are doing good, and I hope you're creating. I hope you're doing something that brings you joy. If you are doing a special project, I'd love to hear about it. Please share in the comments below. And I always love hearing from you guys. Anytime you guys comment, I do try to get back to you as soon as I possibly can, because I do really enjoy communicating with you guys. So have a great rest of your week, and I hope you're staying happy and healthy. Have a great day, guys. Bye.